Good evening YouTube and welcome back to the channel. And I have finally bought a Yamaha R1M. For years I have wanted one of these. Since 2014 when I first saw one at the bike show, I had to have one. And I went with a 2016 model and I'll explain why. But ultimately, if you didn't know, the RC8 is gone and this is its replacement. So stay tuned. I made the decision to go with a 2016 model for a very specific reason. Now the reason that is the first version released in 2015 had an issue with the gearbox which was recalled by Yamaha. For me, yes, it's fine if it's done at a Yamaha dealer, but I'd rather it be done at the factory to preventing this problem to happen. And essentially, the 2015 model was recalled because if you were shifting fast from first to second gear, it could actually lock the gearbox, causing catastrophic engine failure and obviously horrific rider safety. So for that reason, it had to be 2016 onwards. I wanted a relatively low example in mileage wise, which 7,000 miles is pristine. Hopefully, as you can see from the intro, it looks absolutely fantastic. So I've done a few modifications to the bike and it came with some modifications when I bought it, which we'll go over now. The first modification that I had to do was ditching the tinted black screen. For me, I just hate them. I don't understand why people are obsessed with them. I don't even think they look great and they certainly aren't practical. So for me, I went with a clear double bubble screen, got rid of the original tinted one that came with the bike, and by the time I'd sold the Pug one, it pretty much paid for the clear one. Win-win. Boys, I can literally feel sweat dripping down my nuts. Ugh. The next simple yet effective modification for me, an Akrapovic sticker that matches the colour scheme of the bike. And it is a heat resistant one. The original one that came with the bike didn't look fantastic. It just didn't really suit the look of the bike. So I made the decision to tie a more OEM looking colour scheme in there. What I would have loved is what my good friend Sandra's got on his, which is like a laser etched one on the Kenny Roberts. I think that is the best looking one. But for me, yeah, I think it really finishes it off. Let me know in the comments. So on to the things that I love about the R1M. Well, the looks. It looks absolutely incredible with the carbon bodywork, the Öhlins forks, those blue wheels, just everything pops about it. And also the sound. What a noise this thing makes. You can easily be confused for a V4, even though it is an inline four. The next thing I love about this bike is the way it rides and handles. It feels like a 600cc, dare I say it, easier to manoeuvre than my Gixxer 600 K6. It just goes to show how technology has come along, and the power delivery, also a lot like a 600, it just wants to be worked. If you're below 10,000 RPM, it's certainly not a slow bike, but get it above that and boy oh boy, does it take off. The next big love for the R1M, the quick shifter. Out of the factory, the thing is absolutely fantastic. The way you can adjust the shift speeds, the feel when you're going through the box, absolutely beautiful. And I've got to hand it to Yamaha, a real work of art. Now my model doesn't come with the auto blipper, which means it's just quick shift on the way up, not the way down. And to be completely honest with you, I'm not fussed for that at all, because there's something a bit interactively magical about going down the box and revving it yourself. Another big thumbs up for the R1M is the dashboard. Simple yet effective. What I will say is it's probably a little bit smaller than I'd like it to be, especially when you compare it to the later BMW S1000RR, but it does everything you need it to, and it can go from road mode to a track mode where it zooms in on the rev counter as well. There are other features on there which I think are personally unnecessary, but overall, big thumbs up and works perfectly even in bright sunny hot days like today. The final big thumbs up for the R1M, the assists. I really am looking forward to getting this bike on track, and I'm not one of those people that goes, oh, technology, you're going to live on the assist, it's not a real bike. We was out on it over in the Cotswolds a couple of weeks ago, and there were some points where I definitely wouldn't push as hard on a non-assisted bike like with the RC8, and this just let you get away with absolute murder. The technology really is fantastic, and I certainly look forward to trying slide control when I get it on track, certainly not on the road anyway. On to the things that I dislike about the R1M. And don't worry, there are not many, but there are certainly a few. And the biggest one for me, the clip-ons. The rider angle is just absolutely horrific. I find that they're too far down, too far back, too far in, and it's giving me pins and needles in my little finger. The good news is I'm not the only one to suffer with this, and there are aftermarket clip-ons available, which we're going to fit from the Yamaha racing shop. So that's going to be the first modification we'll be doing in the next video. Again, another dislike, which unfortunately happens to a lot of sports bikes, is we still don't have a fuel gauge. We have a trip computer when it runs low, but it's an absolute pain in the arse when you're trying to plan your journey. So you've got mileage, air inlet temperature, coolant temperature, just nothing that really is going to save me if I'm on a road trip and need to see how much fuel I've got in the bike, other than when the light comes on to say, you've got 20 miles, fill up fast. Another thing that I'm going to need to address later in the series is the kangarooing, and this is mainly down to emissions from what I've read online. So you can get these remapped, not so much for power, just for usability and riding on the road. So it's certainly something we're going to do later on in the series and see if we can unlock some extra power. Now, because the bike is running the full evolution system, which is the exhaust, link pipe and the manifold, you will really need to get it suited with mapping. And what that also means is we can then drop in an aftermarket filter as well and potentially go for 210 horsepower at the flywheel. Another thing that I wish Yamaha had done was sort out the indicators. They've done a wonderful job with the tail of the bike, lovely rear light, lovely openings in the back, but unfortunately left the indicators hanging out on the side. If they were integrated into the tail light, it really would have finished the rear end off, especially as the front indicators are built into the mirrors. Final moan with the R1M is the Yamaha badges on the tank. Unfortunately, as you can see on the side there, it's almost like they've got a bit of corrosion. For a 2016 bike with only 7,000 miles on it, it's incredibly disappointing. Again, looking online, it doesn't seem it's unique to mine, and even my friend Sanj's one has done exactly the same thing. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. In the next episode, we're going to be fitting the slightly increased height on the clip-ons to, fingers crossed, improve the ride comfort. And that is just going to be the beginning of the adventure with the R1M. If you want to see some bloopers from the filming today, stay tuned. On to the dislikes of the R1M, and don't worry, there aren't many. What? Oh, is it gone? Undo that.
I think you should come back a little bit. Just do that.
That, yeah. Yeah, but now I look like I'm like crouched over. Just yeah, hold the camera. Oh yeah, walk the camera back like that. Yeah, it's all right. Go on, lift it up and move it. Is it still recording? Okay. On to the dislikes of the R1M, and don't worry, there are not too many, but I'm just going to be brutally honest. Comes in here thinking he owns an R1M, it's got a fucking screen on it. Alright, is it still recording? Bike all still in shot, yeah?
So I'll put you more to the side.
But it's all in shot, the bike, yeah?
Sure.
Okay, we ready? Yeah. On to the things that I dislike with the R1M. And don't worry, there are not many, but there are certainly... Oh my God! No, let... Fucking, I'm sweating my off here. It's no parking signs here, mate. I can park where I like. Fire assembly point there. Right, is it still recording?
Yeah.
Matt, just pull forward, just let me do this scene before I die of heat exhaustion.
3 times already.
It's fucking not here. We'll be doing in the next video. Cool, right, what's the next I was like, Sanj. Asian Media Man fired.